What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and still resident superstar, Adrian Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
Good evening, my good man. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I lived to tell the tale. I lived another day to tell you the tale of how I almost died.
Really?
In a thunderstorm. Yes.
Did you feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up? Was it coming for you?
Not quite that bad. Not quite bad. We haven't gotten any lightning or thunder down here in San Diego. Just tons of rain. And I might have exaggerated a little bit about me almost dying, but no. So there's this tree right outside of my office, right in the corner here, and this has happened a few times before. So this isn't the first time. This is actually the fourth time this has happened. I'm sitting here minding my own business, working this morning, building websites, doing everything, designing graphics, whatever. And suddenly, I hear this rumble, and crash. I'm like, what the heck? And all of a sudden, boom! Something just slams outside my door. I'm like, what the heck? And I open up my door. One of the enormous branches off this tree here just fell. Like, so they've fallen before. One hit the roof one time. Two have hit in the fence on the other side, and then this one this is the first time it's landed right in front of my door like that. And I'm like, imagine if I was just like walking out the door, heading to the bathroom, and I was whacked in the head by a tree branch.
You might need to look into pruning it, maybe. Yeah,
I think they pruned some of the lower branches, but yeah, the upper branches just are. I don't know. The tree looks fine. It looks super healthy. Looks green, but the branches just fall off. Like, even if I go, the one that's out here on the ground, if you go look at it, like, it's not dead, because that's what you would think. Like, oh, it must be it's dying or something like that. But no, it's just straight up falling apart.
I mean, the wind is no joke, dude. Like, nature itself, it's nothing to play with. So it could have been the healthiest of trees, but enough force from a good gust of wind, and it's out of here.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm glad to hear that you survived. You still have all your limbs and extremities.
Yeah, still alive, still here. Mission Valley, though, holy cow! So it's a little closer. It's between like where I live and San Diego. There's a mall there, completely flooded. Like, my brother-in-law went there today, and I saw on his Instagram stories where literally like the parking garage had like 3 or 4 foot of water in it. There's like a road like that goes under the freeway, and it's normally like a 15-foot tunnel that goes underneath the freeway, like an overpass. The water was like 2.5, 3 feet from the top. So it was like, what's that math? 12 foot of water.
Good grief.
Like, in this road. So yeah, we're getting some serious flooding here in San Diego. It's crazy. We're fine. We're up on a hill, but like down in San Diego and stuff, oh man, it's crazy.
It's not much better in my neck of the woods. I don't know if you saw those videos of San Francisco where the streets were so flooded that people were on their surfboards going down the hills.
That's great. Yeah. I did not see that. That's actually kind of awesome, but
it is cool. It's cool. But at the same time, it's like these cities were not built for extreme levels and amounts of rain.
I know.
And we are showing it now.
Yeah, 100%. I keep hearing all these people like, oh, all these Californians complaining about their weather. Like, here we are, we get snow and ice, and they're complaining about a little bit of rain. It's like, okay, the difference is it's not a little rain, it's a lot of rain, and our infrastructures out here are not designed for this. So imagine if you guys got wildfires. What the heck would you do?
Or earthquakes.
Or earthquakes. Yeah, right? Like, we're prepared for those things. We can handle fires and earthquakes.
It's also weird that they're saying things like that, because it's like, oh, our natural disasters are not or we got worse natural disasters than you. It's like, okay.
Like,
you want a medal for that?
Yeah. It's a weird thing to brag about, but cool.
Right.
You do you.
Okay.
I guess.
You're more deadly to live in than we are. Good job.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, the other night, too, we were driving home from someplace, and we're coming down this this interchange, went from one freeway to another, and I was driving, and it was like me, Trudy, and the boys were like, we're all in the car, and I'm like immediately just coming down. We were going about 60, so under the speed limit. Speed limit 65, and I mean normally it's higher, but everything looked. It was raining, but there wasn't many puddles. Like it was like, okay, everything's running, it's good. So I felt comfortable going about 60, 65 because of that. Well, at this interchange, there was a weird like bowl almost had created. I didn't realize it, and so there's a puddle. I immediately start hydroplaning. I'm like, I started saying that out loud. I'm like, I'm hydroplaning. I wasn't panicking, but I was just like, kind of like in a very monotone, just I'm hydroplaning. And Trudy's just like, what? I'm like, it's fine. I'm just trying to like,
we're good.
It's like, don't
everybody relax.
Yeah, don't jerk the wheel. Like nice and easy on the brake. Kind of like give it a little like, so let's slow down a little bit. And like I got control, and we kept going. Like I don't know. 100 feet in front of us, all of a sudden we come up on a car, not even, maybe like 50 or 60 feet. Suddenly I see these blinkers. There's a car that must have done the same thing, except they lost control. They were totally sideways into the guardrail, front end all smashed up. And I was like, we almost ended up like them. Or who knows, maybe we would have hit them. So I was crazy. Lord watching over us at that moment. Yeah, good thing I didn't panic, because we could have been right there next to him. So yeah, crazy.
Man, you and Death just been doing a little one-on-one this week. Good grief.
It's been. I'm 2 for 2 so far. So I'm hoping there's no like third time's a charm.
Don't do a rematch, please. Yeah. No, you're good. You're 2 up. Leave it alone.
They say third time's a charm, but
no.
In my thinking about it, like it wouldn't be good for me. It'd be great for the Grim Reaper. So hopefully I just need to like wear bubble wrap and hide in my
and sit down somewhere.
Like that. But good news, I got the new Sephiroth amiibo, and it's incredible. So I didn't have to die for that either. It was just like,
let me see it.
Good, but let's see if the camera will focus on it. But
for our audio listeners, this is a. I guess you could say they use the remake design, I guess. Well, I guess they would use the one that he appears in
the game,
Smash,
probably, whatever.
Which is akin to that. It's like his standard Sephiroth soldier uniform, and he has his one wing out, as he is so aptly known for. That's it, right? Is that all the... No, there's still no Sora one yet.
Yeah, so they did. So just now, I think they just came out Friday or Saturday. So Sephiroth, it was Sephiroth and what's the one from Tekken?
Kazuya, right?
Yeah. So those are the 2 that released on Saturday, and then eventually they've got to make a Sora one. You think
they have to? Yeah, I think this is it. I think Sora's left.
So probably later this year or something. Maybe the next few months we'll get it.
Let me know. Nintendo. Let me know.
Nintendo.
I'll be outside.
Yeah, I got on that like as soon as Wario64 tweeted about it. I was like, I don't know like how popular Sephiroth is or anything, but I'm like, I'm just gonna get on it. I ordered it. There was like one left in stock at my Target to pre-order. Like I ordered it Friday night, so it was ready for pickup Saturday, and it's like one left. I'm like, go quick, get it.
I wonder how that's gonna. I hope like Disney doesn't do anything to block that, or be like, actually that's a toy. We need 30% of that. Or some weird legal mumbo jumbo.
I wonder how that'll work. That would really suck if they blocked something like that.
But Sakurai said everybody's supposed to get one, and he don't lie. So we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we will see. All right, well, let's get on with the show here. Talk about some video games. Today, we're going to be talking about Xbox and Bethesda's Developer Direct, Ubisoft cancellations, and Assassin's Creed Mirage might be a return to form. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumple Smash, Eddie Martin, and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. Get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show and the Super Gamer Book Club, hosted by Adrian. The newest episode that came out at the end of December is Kingdom Hearts, featuring KK Ryder and Angel.
Every time you say it, I can't believe we actually did it.
Right? It's crazy. Man. You actually got me to play Kingdom Hearts. And then over on the free feed, if you're on the fence about supporting us, you want to check out this incredible show. Like, is it worth getting 2 months ahead of time? Spoiler alert, it is. But if you want to check it out, Luigi's Mansion is up right now, featuring Connor McCabe from Call Me By Your Game. Fantastic episode again. Every episode's fantastic. We just have such awesome guests. Like, that's the best part. Like, those episodes we have guests on, like, they're always so good.
Yeah. And the ones with me and you are cool too.
Yeah, they're good too.
Don't sell them short.
No. They're fantastic. It's just, it's just always so fun to hear other people's perspectives. Because especially for me too, it's really fun because you host it, so I have very little responsibility other than just playing this game, which that's a lot. That's a lot for me. But a lot of times it's my first time playing it, so it's cool when we have guests and I come on as this newbie. You've played this game before, and a lot of times our guest has played it before, multiple times even. And so I don't know. Yeah, it's just a cool dynamic where it's like I'm the newbie in this situation, which doesn't happen very often. Like, I'm the one coming in fresh and not knowing what's going on. And then you guys are like these experts. It's just so fun to listen to you guys kind of like, talk about these games. So it's fun. It's a fun dynamic we have. Upcoming this month is Chrono Trigger with Eddie and El Chizo. That'll be a fun one. So stay tuned for that one. If you don't support us, you're probably going to want to, because
this is going to be a good one.
there was some beef. There was some beef between Eddie and Chizo. They have differing viewpoints. As in, Eddie thinks it's a fantastic game, and Chizo
one is right and one is wrong.
I can't remember the exact quote, but I'm pretty sure it's something along lines of Chrono Trigger is trash and shouldn't have ever been made and should burn in hell. Something like that. I think
around there. I think that was the energy that he had. You nailed the energy at least, even if it wasn't the same exact quote.
So you won't want to miss that one coming at the end of this month. We'll talk more about our Patreon later on the show. Before we move on here, let's give a huge shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on our show. Right here in the background of the stream, or if you're watching on YouTube and podcast later, you should be able to hear it. And you should check them out at Spotify and Apple Music. Links are in the show description below. All right. This week... So I was just going to say, hey, it's now time to check them out. That's what I always do. But you know what? 2 things.
Hit it.
I don't think we have a mailbag bit. I don't have a mailbag bit. And 2, no one wrote questions in, except for one person. We have one question. So shame on you all. Shame.
You know, I hate to have to go in there and threaten and
that's usually what it comes
shake
down
a fist,
to, though, unfortunately.
You know what I mean? Because I always have to dangle it like, hey, if we don't start getting questions in here, the mailbag's gonna get put away. You know what I mean? And then watch what happens. A flood of them come in. Don't make me have to do it. I'm gonna give you this week to redeem yourselves. I want to see questions in there before next week. And if I don't, we're gonna have a sit down discussion, all of us together. Don't do it.
And it could be anything. Like, we can like,
anything. It doesn't have to be.
We get a lot of silly questions, like Mount Rushmore questions, or what would you like? Who do you think wins in this fight, or whatever? But even if it's serious question, you know, like, give us some serious gaming questions.
Ooh,
like,
I would love that.
What would you think if, I don't know, I can't even think of one off the top of my... Oh, actually, I can think of one. We'll talk about it after Eddie's. We'll do Eddie's first, and then I have a question I'll add to it. It's a very serious question. But so let's get into it. We have a question from Hophead Ed. And he asked, give me your Mount Rushmore of Muppets. And he goes on to say, Sesame Street characters are allowed.
They better be. They're Muppets. What are you talking about? This is tough because it spans so many different areas of Jim Henson Company projects, right? Like, you got Fraggle Rock, you got the Prime Muppets, you got Sesame Street, you got the Dark Crystal, you got you've got the Labyrinth ones, you've got so many different things you can pick from, right? So I'll do this. I'll give you my Muppet Prime, which is like Kermit and them. I'll say it's a tie between Animal and Rolf. I think Animal, of course, is one of everybody's favorites. He's just a bundle of energy and can kill it on the drums. And Rolf is the perfect mix of like being a goofball and being the voice of reason. So I appreciate both of that.
On the piano every time.
Yeah. He's definitely underrated. For Sesame Street, I think you have to, just as it being impressive as a Muppet, I'd have to say Big Bird. The way that they're able to make that suit work, and they were able to have, Carol Spinney or whoever was operating at the time be able to do it for so long means that they had to craft that suit really well. So that top of my list as far as achievements go. The Skeksis and the Dark Crystal were also very impressive as far as their design and their complexity. So I appreciated that. And I need a fourth, huh?
Wait, so what have you been so far? They were Big Bird,
the Skeksis. I put Rolf and Animal as one.
Rolf. Okay.
And then there's a lot. I'm going through my Rolodex right now. There's a lot.
Yeah.
I'll give you a new gen one that I really like. That she really took off, and a lot of people took to her. I think Abby is a really good new one too from Sesame Street. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's a new good mascot character, and I'm glad that she worked out.
Yeah,
because I feel like a lot of people were a little cold on her at first, but they came around, and now she's like, whenever you see pictures of like the main Sesame Street cast, like Elmo, Big Bird, she's there.
She's always in the coloring books now. Yeah, she's always in the she's definitely like a main cast now. So, for me. So I don't have. I remember Fraggle Rock, but I don't remember any of the characters. So
that's my weakest link too.
Obviously, they're not going to be on my Mount Rushmore. The Dark Crystal, I actually don't really have any experience with.
You should check it out. They're actually really good.
So there was there's the new series. Wasn't there an old series that it was a spinoff or not a spinoff of, but almost like a.
For what? The Dark Crystal?
For Dark Crystal, yeah. It's not.
Yeah, there's the original movie, and then they made a new series. Okay, I think a year or two ago.
Yeah, I remember that was really good series. Too. I remember the series that just recently came out, and I remember hearing it's based off of something from the 80s. I'm like, wow,
it's a prequel.
How have I never heard of this? So okay. So my list is mainly going to consist of Muppet and Sesame Street, and probably mostly Muppet, honestly. I love Sesame Street, but
have at it.
The characters from just the Muppets were so incredible. So I have Rizzo the Rat.
Oh.
And Pepe the King Prawn.
Okay.
And mainly from Muppet Treasure Island. Those two in that movie together are so good. I love it. Or I mean any movie. I feel like they tend to hang out together a lot. Mm-hmm. And so Rizzo the Rat, Pepe the King Prawn. I almost want to put Animal on there, but
anybody from Labyrinth?
No, I honestly can't. I watched Labyrinth so long ago, I can't remember any of the characters, to be completely honest. I watched it when I was a kid. I don't think I've watched it since then. No, I'm gonna go Sesame Street, and I gotta give it to Oscar the Grouch. I love me some Oscar. Oh, and the last one I think is what's the elephant's name? Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I think that's it for me. Those are my top four. Whenever I see those four as soon as I see those four come on the screen, it brings a smile to my face. Or when the kids want me to read a book and it's they're in the book, I'm like, these are the best. I love them.
I thought you were gonna say something like Skeeter or something. I was like, man, come on, Gary.
Skeeter. No, I have better taste than that.
You want your favorite one is the stage manager? Okay.
The stage manager. I like the two old men who are always stuck in like the window.
Stanley
like
and Waldorf?
The front of the pirate ship in Muppet Treasure Island.
They have some of the best bits in the Muppet Show.
They really do.
They are so well written.
So good. Man, I honestly, it's hard to just pick four because I just want to keep going. There's so many incredible ones. So that's it from the questions that were written in. But like I said, I have a serious question here. And we don't have to talk on this very long because it's I don't know. We'll see how the discussion goes, I guess. Last week, I had mentioned that I was going to stream the game High on Life by Squanch Games because JJ sung its praises. He's like, it's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. I've heard a lot of people say, hey, it's a really good game. Not necessarily a great game, perfect game, but it's a really good game and it's funny. Mm-hmm. It's enjoyable to play. And so I said on last week's episode, hey, I'm going to stream this game. I've already been planning on streaming it, just never found the time, but I was going to make time this week. And it was literally like Tuesday or Wednesday. Like I think it was the day our episode came out, Wednesday or something like that. All the news came out about Justin Roiland, head of Squanch Games, also co-creator of Rick and Morty, and he has some other Hulu show. I forget what it's called. Opus. I don't know.
I could not for the life of me tell you.
Solar Opposites. That's what it's called. It's on Hulu. And I think he even has one more show, like Koala Man or something with Hugh Jackman in it.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. He is being charged for
battery, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact thing he's being charged for, which I probably should know if I'm going to talk about it here. But basically, there was something that happened back in 2020. It was like a girlfriend at the time had reported it back then in 2020, but he's just now getting charged with it. It's just now kind of getting public now. Like people know about it. Like, oh, shoot. Felony domestic violence charges. So... yeah, it's kind of come out that, he's actually, and a lot of people are starting to come out, like it's one of those things where, like, now that he's been outed, like other people are like, oh yeah, he's a creepy, weird dude. Like he sends me weird pictures and weird, like says weird things in the DMs and all that.
I mean, but honestly, look at the stuff he makes. Like you don't think he's a weird dude? Come on now.
I assumed he was a weird dude, but
you gotta have some kind of basis, some kind of foundation for that.
I assumed he was weird just because he, is just a nerd and was, he probably just lived in his parents' basement too long or whatever. Apparently he's from Stockton, California. Did you know that? He's really from Stockton.
Oh no, he's from here.
So when I first saw that, I was like, that explains a lot. He's from. When I lived in Bethesda, it's like 45 minutes from Stockton.
It was Stockton.
Not even like a half
2020. He had nothing else to do. He's weird.
Anyways, so I guess my kind of semi-serious question is how, and I know there's not any like probably solid answer on this, but I don't know. Is it all right to play a game now? Or like let's talk specifically about video games, because I know there's a lot of different avenues we can go down. I'm not saying we can't talk about those other things, but I'm asking specifically, like, how does that make you feel and to play a game, or is it all right to play the game that is so closely tied to this now garbage human being?
Yeah, I
guess he's in it. His voice is all the way through it. Because I guess in my mind, and I'll kind of share my thoughts quick before you share yours to give you a second to think about it if you need it. I initially felt like, oh shoot, I can't play this game. Like I was like, I do not feel right playing this game. I don't know if it's all right to stream. Like, just because it is so closely tied to Justin, and who knows? And there's a report from 2018 where one of the employees there reported some sort of weird like sexual misconduct within the company. Even it wasn't with Justin, but it was like other things within the company at Squanch Games.
Right.
And I guess like nothing ended up happening, and I think even the employee ended up getting fired or something like that. Like they just got rid of the one who complained, or they settled. I think they settled out of court. They're just like, sweep it under the rug or whatever. And so with all that, it's like, oh man, like by playing this game, am I is that wrong, or is that supporting this in some way? And by the end of the weekend, this last weekend, I was kind of feeling like, no, I think it's all right to play, because there's so many other people who like make the game and who work on it. But I don't know. Again, I just want to bring it up and be like, what do you think, Adrian? And I guess listeners, like, leave your comments down, and if you're watching on YouTube, right below what you think, or on the podcast, talk to us on Discord. But what do you guys think about like this situation? Is like, is it okay now to play this game by me streaming it? Is that endorsing him or anything like that? Like, I don't know.
I want to preface this first. I agree with you. I definitely want to hear. This is one of the ones where I want to hear people's feedback. I want to hear what the Discord is thinking, or anybody who happens to listen to this, either in audio or on YouTube. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So we were kind of chatting a little bit in the beginning about before we started recording, really, for this, and we were talking about how there's the argument that one should be able to separate the art from the artist, right? And I was saying that I can see that argument to an extent, right? Like, there's ways that you could separate the art from the artist, and I feel like you have to kind of base that on a scale of what exactly, they have done. Like, and I was saying before that there are things that are kind of like, this was not a good move for you to do. This definitely, is reprehensible. But there's also other stuff, like people who have been involved in human trafficking, or, people who were murderers or something like that. That kind of stuff is like, I can't, anything you've touched, I don't want to put anything more in your pocket. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like you were saying, there are people who work at Squanch Games or anywhere else that have had those issues. A good example of this is, I really like a game that came out a couple years ago called Indivisible. It was like a 2D not hack and slash, but like a platform fighter kind of deal. And some stuff came out about that one from the leader of the project, and unfortunately, he ended up getting booted out of the company, and the company got dissolved. And now we never get to hear anything from that team again because of the actions of that leader. And that's unfortunate, because there were a lot of people there, and then just like at Squanch, that they didn't know any of this was going on. They didn't have any, particular involvement in it. And who's to say that everybody on that team even knew who Justin was, like Justin personally? They might have just said, "Oh, he's just a big boss," that I don't ever see.
I've never met him. Yeah.
Right. He's not having dinner with everybody on the crew. You know what I mean? So when you take that into account, it's easier to divorce that, because yes, Justin is involved. We're talking about this specific case, right? Like, yeah, he's involved and he's in the game, but he is quite honestly a small fraction of what that game is made up of, right? Like, there's dozens of artists, there's dozens of sound people, there's gameplay designers, coders, marketing, all that different kind of legal, all these different entities and teams of people that are working, giving their all, because this is their passion. Yeah. So for it to be thrown away because one element of it turned out not to be the best person, I would say it's kind of unfair to the rest of them. And you can make the argument, and people are well within their rights to, right? Like, a bad apple spoils the bunch. I don't want anything to do with it. I totally get you, right? That's it, and that's how you feel. I understand it, because you don't want to put anything that could put it in that money in that person's pocket, right? Because of what they've done. I get that. But at the same time, me seeing the big picture, right? The problematic element has been removed at this point. And now only thing that is left is the people who had no involvement in it. So that's kind of where I'm at with it is he has been dealt with. He's maybe indirectly just because he is a creator on it, profiting from it, but he's not like actively involved in it anymore.
Right.
And I know the big hot ticket item right now, like we were talking about before the show too, and is the Hogwarts game coming out.
Right. Portkey games, that was called.
Yeah. Like this is kind of a similar situation, right? Where the creator of the property has done some things that are not okay by any stretch of the imagination, right? And Portkey has come out and said, look, we really like Harry Potter and we wanted to make this game. We don't have anything to do. We don't want nothing to do with her, right? We just want to make a cool Harry Potter game. And there are people who are like, yo, I don't want to put money in JK's pocket. And I respect that. But at the same time, if they're coming out and saying, hey, we don't want anything to do with her, it's unfortunate that she's going to benefit off of this indirectly because she is entitled to it. She created it. But we love this IP and we wanted to make something from it that, doesn't align with her sensibilities and whatever. So if somebody wanted to buy the game, I'm not going to fault them. If somebody didn't want to buy the game, I'm not going to fault them either. I feel like both perspectives can be respected.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm sitting with it. And then you can kind of take that logic and apply it to High on Life. So if you didn't want to play it anymore, Garrett, I'm with you. I get it. Mm-hmm. You don't want to put any money in this person's pocket because they've done things that are reprehensible and you don't want to support them at all. But if you want to continue to support game developers who are making this game and probably making expansion content and really didn't have anything to do with this at all, to keep this thing going, to keep art going in the game industry, I support your decision there too. So it's really up to the sensibilities of the individual.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I also want to base this on, it's also up to what the person has done, right? Like there are things where we're done with this, whatever this property is, right? Like if you're a murderer, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dev team. You guys are done.
Yeah. You guys are done. You come out as like supporting Adolf Hitler,
Yeah. Yeah. Your music's done. Your game is done. Whatever project you're working on, it's out of here. You know what I mean? And that sounds terrible because I don't want to downplay domestic abuse because it is definitely a horrible thing. And he will be legally dealt with, so he will feel the repercussions of this. Yeah. And I don't want to advocate it being like, oh, it's not as bad as murder, so it's okay. But I'm just saying there are things where you're automatically like, everything is done,
Yeah, and I like what you said there, and just with like, that's what initially I was kind of feeling like what you mentioned before, like bad apple spoils a whole bunch kind of thing, and that's how I was at first. I was like, oh nope, I'm done. But yeah, by the end of the weekend, I really was kind of coming around on it. And the other tricky thing is like it's on Game Pass, so I didn't pay for it. I've already installed it. They already got paid for it, so it's like I've already like that money is going his way whether I play the game or not. So why spoil my potential enjoyment on something that he created, like co-created, but like again, there was like so many other people on the team. Other people who was on the writing team, other people who was on like the character creation team, like all this stuff. Like, why should they suffer? So, So I think more and more I was starting to lean that way. But again, I just wanted to kind of open up the discourse and hear what you thought. And again, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, like leave a comment with your thoughts or join us over at supergamerboys.com/Discord. Join our Discord and I don't know, chat about it respectfully. We're all about let's have a discussion
within reason.
We're not going to be a bunch of jerks about it. I'm a huge advocate of like we can agree to disagree on things. So if you're going to come in there and like have a different point of view, great. But don't be a bunch of jerks in there, else I'll boot you.
It's okay to not like things.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick about the things you don't like.
Exactly. So okay, yeah. Well, I'll think about it a little more, and who knows? Maybe I will stream it, or maybe I won't end up streaming it. Maybe I'll just play it myself and just enjoy it.
Whichever way you want to go, I'm with you.
But thanks for your input there, Adrian, and again, everyone else. I'd love to hear from you. This is a reverse mailbag. I'm sending the mailbag. I'm sending the mail out to you guys. Give me your answers.
This is an outbox.
An outbox. Alrighty, let's get on with the show here. Show notes. Where are my show notes? I'm lost without my show notes. Oh, right. It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
By the way, if you haven't noticed, JJ is not here tonight. Once again, I just love how we've gotten into the rhythm where we don't even acknowledge it at the beginning of the show.
Couldn't you tell by the lack of screaming children in the background that he wasn't here?
Oh, man. But, yeah, he, of course, was, I don't know. He said he was busy watching The Last of Us. I was like, really? You're skipping the show for The Last of Us?
Fair.
I don't blame him, but
I was going to say fair, because that first episode was a doozy.
Oh, man. I'm going to talk about it a little later. That'll be my spoiler. It's my what you playing section.
Oh, you're cheating, huh?
Because I did not play any games this last week. So I'm going to talk about The Last of Us. But this first news story comes to us from GameSpot over at GameSpot. I already said that. By Evan Campbell. Microsoft officially announces Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct for January 25th. Microsoft will put 4 studios in the spotlight for a Developer Direct presentation at noon Pacific Time on January 25th. The event will center on The Elder Scrolls Online, Forza Motorsports, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall. Xbox and Bethesda will air the live stream on their respective Twitch and YouTube channels, but Microsoft says the developers, Arcane Austin, Mojang Studios, Turn 10 Studios, and ZeniMax Online Studios will present big features and extended gameplay showcases on their titles, according to Xbox Wire. For example, Arcane Austin is planning to show off single and multiplayer gameplay footage for Redfall. The studio will also talk more about combat customization bosses for the FPS. Redfall will reportedly launch in May, though no release date has been given. This event may clarify the situation. This little editor note from me. So before this was announced, this Developer Direct, it was leaked. And part of that leak was that Redfall will be launching on May 2nd. So far, half of that leak is true. I assume the other half is also true, but we'll just have to wait for the Direct to actually see what's going on with that. But details are more vague for the Forza Motorsports. Turn 10 will apparently share more gameplay and exciting new details per Microsoft. That said, this Developer Direct is about titles launching in the next few months, alluding to the fact the racing game will arrive sooner than later. The Elder Scrolls Online fans can expect to learn more about the next major chapter update for the MMO, on top of new playable regions of Tamriel. Meanwhile, the Minecraft Legends segment will zero in on the PvP multiplayer experience for the game. If you're wondering about Starfield, Microsoft says a standalone show in the future will focus on the title from Bethesda Game Studios. That seemingly confirms the report from earlier this week regarding the now official Xbox Games Showcase. So, Adrian, with hearing that, I guess with the leak, at least, of the Redfall potentially coming out in May, what are your thoughts on this, on them doing their own Direct? Because this is a whole new thing. So, question number one, what are your thoughts on that? Because this is kind of the first time doing this outside of their normal, E3 thing. And then the second question being, yeah, what do you think this means for Starfield? Is Starfield coming out? Could it be a summer release? Redfall's a spring. Do you think Starfield? So those are kind of my two questions. What are your thoughts on this Direct? How do you feel about it? Will this be a recurring segment, you think, from them? And thoughts on what that means for Starfield.
So, first things first, they got to get another name. Direct is already taken.
Right.
Stop trying to piggyback off of somebody else's thing.
This is called a Developer Direct, not just a Direct.
Same difference. Are they gonna say Developer Direct when they're talking about it colloquially,
no,
or are they gonna call it a Direct? They're gonna call it an Xbox Direct. Find your own name.
Yeah, everyone else has their own thing. It's Nintendo Direct,
State of Play,
State of Play. Come on, Xbox, come up with something. Cool.
Right. I don't know. Inside the box, something. Figure it out. So. Starfield is not going to be at this showcase? Or
Correct.
did I hear you wrong?
Yeah, Starfield will not be here. Apparently, there's another showcase coming soon afterwards that's going to focus just on Starfield.
Okay, so that means it's probably got to be, within the next month? Because the last time we saw it was in that showcase where they were like, this is going to be everything within the first 6 months of 2023. So there's no way it could come out. It would have, if it was summer, it'd have to be June.
Yeah.
That it would drop. Unless they're going to have to push Starfield back again. And if that happens, everybody's going to lose all faith in Xbox.
I know last week I said that like as soon as Starfield's ready, they just need to drop it. Like it's like I think I even predicted like maybe they release Starfield before Redfall, which would be crazy. But if Redfall is supposed to come out in May, like that might be the case. Like what if like we get it in if we get Starfield in like March? Because that would be crazy to go like May Redfall and then like a month later like and Starfield like like boom boom.
It'd be crazy, but it's what they need to do, right? They didn't. Yeah. They need to start having an output, right? They didn't drop really anything last year.
They didn't have any. There was only one game that I think they published, but it wasn't even their It wasn't an Xbox developer. It was just Xbox published. It was Scorn, if I remember correctly. That's all they put out last year.
That's what I'm saying. So there's no Microsoft Game Studios games released in 2022, which is crazy when you ask me to buy a $500 box. That's wild.
Yep.
So the Starfield showcase needs to be, I'd say, no later than the end of March.
I mean, I feel like the game needs to even come out.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing where like when they did the Halo thing and they're like, we're dropping the multiplayer today. I think they need to do that. We're dropping Starfield today. You know, because if they bungle this and they have to go outside of June, you know, their name is mud for the foreseeable future, because now you can't trust anything they say.
Yeah.
So and I'm sure they know that.
So technically, when they said everything we're showing here is coming out in the next year, at that point it was still coming out in November, and then they delayed it from November to indefinitely. They don't know. So does that mean what they said before still counts, or does that nullify what they said before?
No, because they put it in that showcase with the intent that it's going to come out in the next year. So if they already delayed it, then their name's already mud.
Yeah, because remember, it's supposed to come out in November. They had this they had the conference in June. They're like, hey, everything that you see here is coming out next year. Starfield was one of them, and then they even announced, hey, it's coming out in November. And then October, they delayed it to we don't know when. There's like next year sometime. So, I mean, in my mind, they're already like it almost like nullifies it. I wonder if in their head that almost nullifies the argument. Like, oh no, we can release it later now. Not that I think they should, but I don't know. That's my worry. Is now they feel like, oh, since we've delayed it indefinitely, that kind of gives us freedom to like push to next holiday or something, which would be insane. Like they can't do that, but
they can't. That's 3 years without a high profile Microsoft Studios title. That's crazy in this generation.
Yeah.
Only thing I can think about from this particular showcase is that my uncle is going to be incredibly excited about this. He is a huge Elder Scrolls fan. He has put hundreds of hours into Elder Scrolls Online. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes. He's told me multiple times about he'll be playing till like 2-3 in the morning. And I'm like, man, you are tougher than me. Because 10:30 starts to hit and I'm looking at my bed like, looking kind of good over there, you know? So it's very rare that I stay up for anything that late, but he is a huge Elder Scrolls Online fan. So I'm going to have to tell him, relay everything that we see to him so he can know what's going on.
Heck yeah. I'm surprised you haven't joined him, teamed up with him, played it.
I've been on, I didn't tell you, I just bought the console version of Final Fantasy 14. So I can get back into it on there, and I'll have to sit in front of my PC. I can lay down on the bed and play it if I want to.
That's awesome.
That's my sync. It's my first MMO. Give me a break. Give me a break.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. That's awesome that your uncle's super into it. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, how many expansions they even have for that? I feel like
I know they've had quite a few because it's been out for a while.
Yeah, it's just like every once in a while I hear like something about like, oh yeah, I forgot that was a game. Like a couple years ago, my brother got into it and he's like, you should get it. And I think I didn't buy it, but I think they did like a free weekend. I downloaded it. And I didn't even play it. I think I installed it and then never even played the trial. I was like,
your brother was like, hey, what's going on?
What's going on? At that point, I want to say it was during 2020 though. And so he's in the military and they had the military went hardcore with their quarantines. Like he literally was like locked in his house for like ever, like way beyond even like.
So he had nothing but time.
He started a realm for the Super Gamer Boys. If you don't know, there's a Minecraft realm, I should specify, that my brother, he moderates and maintains and pays for. Like that's for the Super Gamer Boys. So if you listen or watch us,
I never heard about this.
Yeah, hit him up on Discord, and he should be able to send you an invite, I think. But anyways, he has a freaking like castle in like all this underground lair. Like it's crazy. Like, he spent like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in Minecraft during quarantine. But then like after he got bored of that, I think he went to like Elder Scrolls and he started playing that. And I was like, dude, like by the time I got into it, that free weekend, I'm like, you're so far ahead of me. Like there's no way. There's no way.
I have a couple of friends who are like that, who are playing Final Fantasy, and I'm like, I don't even tell them when I get on because I just want to like experience it because I'd made that mistake, and I was like, hey, I started playing along. Pretty much. And I was like, hey, I started playing Final Fantasy, and then they all bombarded in the game, and they threw me like $50 million, and I'm like, no, I want to earn the money. Leave me alone.
You're just like, no,
I want to earn the experience. Here's this super high level armor. Here's this all this money. I'm like, no, let me do it.
Oh man. See, I'm the opposite. When I jump in an MMO, I'm like, give me all the good stuff because I don't have time to grind it out. Just get me at the top, and then I can play with you because that's what's fun is playing with people. To me, it's like I don't care about all the other crap, all the grind and everything. It's like if I, people would be like, oh, come play Destiny 2 with me. I'm like, no,
absolutely not.
Too much time. Takes too much work. I feel like. Half of that leak being correct, that there's a developer direct. I imagine the other half is also true. I think Redfall's probably coming out in May, maybe not May 2nd, but sometime in May. And it seems crazy, but yeah, I think Starfield has to come out before then. Mm-hmm. Like if it's any later, which is unfortunate because I feel like that's going to eat into to Redfall's sales and stuff like that. Maybe. I mean, they're very different games. So as genre-wise, it won't eat into sales, but as far as Xbox exclusive, Xbox first-party games, if you're more of an Xbox fanboy than a specific genre, then I feel like it's just unfortunate for Redfall all the way around. But at the same time, like, I don't know. They don't have a choice. Like, it'd be absolutely absurd if they delayed Starfield any farther than June. Like, if it's not out by June, like, what the heck are they doing?
I'd be worried about the project at that point.
Yeah.
You need a whole extra year? What's going on? I mean, granted, like we always say when Starfield comes up, you and I are in the minority because that preview did not look good.
Well, from what a lot of people did not like the preview. I think in general, at least a lot of people
the one we saw at the showcase. I haven't seen anything since then.
A lot of people I remember talking to, like they also kind of felt similarly, but it was. But then there was like kind of this uptick in popularity because of like that we talked about it. What was it last week or a few weeks ago where apparently playtesters were really enjoying it. So now there's also this like very positive vibe towards Starfield, and I'm just like. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, again, if they have to keep delaying it, it might. I'm like, I don't know. Bethesda. Now, I was trying to think back. Bethesda, historically, they haven't really delayed too many of their games, like with the Fallout games, right? Like they usually come out pretty much when they say. They come out buggy as heck.
I was gonna say that's why they come out on time is because they come out broken and they fix it along the way.
Yeah.
Fallout, Skyrim.
It's just interesting that this is like the first time they're taking it so seriously. They're like, no, it needs to come out bug free. It's probably just because they're owned by Xbox.
Okay,
now.
Bethesda, you've never not once shipped a bug free game or a major bug free game. There's definitely going to be some, especially now that it sounds like they're rushing to get it out.
Yeah, it's going to feel wrong if there isn't bugs, honestly.
Yeah, at this point.
Like, this isn't a Bethesda game if it's not a
That's
little
the best
weird.
part is you were there at launch and you get to be like, oh, no. When people who first start playing it, oh, you weren't there. You weren't there when it first came out, and it was bugs everywhere. You're
back in my day.
Right. Back in my day, my console blew up when I started it.
I went to leave the general store, and suddenly I got teleported to the end of the game in the final boss battle.
It was 3 giants, and I didn't have any armor on.
Oh, man. All right, well, let's move on to this next story here. These last two are actually kind of connected, as you could tell from the intro at the beginning of the show here. So this first one here comes from IGN, written by Rebecca Valentine. Ubisoft cancels 3 unannounced games and delays Skull and Bones for the 6th time.
Just cancel it. Cancel it. Cancel it. What are you doing?
Oh, man. Crazy. In a press release today, Ubisoft outlined a new strategy for the remainder of its fiscal year, as well as lowered expectations for the last fiscal quarter. Ubisoft explains the move as a result of the company facing major challenges as the industry continues to shift towards mega brands and long-lasting titles then can reach players across the globe, across platforms and business models. When Ubisoft notes its goals has been to build large, overarching global brands, the release adds that games from this investment phase have yet to be released, while our recent launches have not performed as well as expected. Specifically, the press release later calls out Mario plus Rabbids Spark of Hope as underperforming in the final weeks of 2022 and early January despite an ambitious marketing plan. Just Dance 2023 underperformed as well. That's because they stopped releasing it on the Wii. You know, that's
pretty much, yeah.
If they kept releasing it on the Wii, they'd probably be getting all those.
That is so
stuff.
Crazy to me. People still have Wii's plugged in to play Just Dance in 2022.
Because that was it was 2022 was the last year they did it, right? Or was it 2021?
Yeah, it's the same engine, so why not?
Absolutely crazy. In response to these issues, Ubisoft is delaying Skull and Bones for the 6th time and is also canceling 3 unannounced projects on top of the 4.
Make it 4, cancel Skull and Bones.
Yeah, right. Well, it says canceling 3 on top of the 4 already canceled last year. So it canceled 4 last year, canceled another 3 just now. So what in the world do they have coming?
Nothing.
Absolutely crazy. For Skull and Bones specifically, the new target looks to be early 2023, 2024.
Oh
Obviously,
my God.
So it says
they're delaying it another year?
No. Well, possibly. It says the soonest we could see it is April of this year, but it could be as late as December of this year or even beginning of next year. That's kind of what they're saying. So yeah, it could be with as soon as just a couple months and as late as a whole year, basically. Crazy. There it goes on and more, but what a fall from grace Ubisoft has had over the last 5-6 years. Yeah, I guess really 10 I don't know about that long. Maybe 5 or 6 years, right? I guess I don't know. Without seeing
10 years
timeline,
was when Assassin's Creed was jumping off. Shortly before that, we got Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah.
Rayman was jumping. So they were doing good at that time.
I'm bringing up a list of their games in a timeline because I want to see. Excuse me.
Isn't Watch Dogs Ubisoft?
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna be real. I got a hot take.
All right.
Watch Dogs is not a good series.
I've never played any of them, so I don't.
I tried to play the first one. I got bored out of my mind. I tried to play the second one because I'm like, oh, cool. It's a spy thriller game based in the Bay Area. I might know some stuff here. It is the corniest dialogue and cutscenes I think I've seen in the game in a while. And I just that totally turned me off. And the radio stations and the DJs are on there are really corny too. I was just like, no, really? Can't do it. Can't do it. And then Legion turned out to not be good. So it's kind of like it's not a good series. I'm sorry. It's a neat idea. It's just not executed well.
Right. Man, yeah, I can't even. I'm looking at what they've made in the last 13 years.
Now I will say,
Splinter Cell Convictions was good back in 2012, like 10 years ago.
I will say some of their best work of recent games has been Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
A lot of people I heard did. Now
I put about 40 hours into it, I would say.
Okay. So you got through the tutorial mission at the beginning.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then it opened up to the world where there was like literally 800 icons, and it would have taken me hours to get from one side of the map to the other.
Jeez.
I'm exaggerating, but not that much, actually.
Barely. So it honestly has been about 10 years since Ubisoft's put out anything good. Like 10 years ago was Far Cry 3. And then since then, Far Cry
that's right.
4.
They are Far Cry, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, since then, nothing really. Like Assassin's Creed Syndicate, that was not really. People didn't really like that.
That was the one that forced them to take a break and start doing every other year for Assassin's Creed. Because it was so bad and buggy.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, it's just sad because back in the day it was like for myself and I remember it so fondly because it's my dad loved Ubisoft. Like when he heard Ubisoft was coming out with a new game, like it was a must buy. You buy, especially if it had Tom Clancy in the title, but really anything. Like he was down for Ubisoft, whatever.
So he's down for some whatever that Ultra game.
He
the one that got canceled, probably
XD or X Defiance or whatever it was. Yeah, keyword was though. Like he was
Altair
totally,
fighting Ghost Recon.
But in the last 10 years, like everything has been mediocre at best from them. Other than like I don't know, a lot of people liked Odyssey. I didn't play it because I played Origins, Assassin's Creed Origins, and just did not enjoy it. And then went to Odyssey. I like the world of Origins, but this like the gameplay itself is just like, this doesn't feel the same.
No, Odyssey is that refined.
Core Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. So it's just sad to see. Like they've turned into this, and recently they sold to Tencent now. So it's like they're not even their own, their own thing. They're owned by. Well, Tencent.
They only did that to stop
Vivendi
from overtaking them. So
it's like they're not even like their own, they're not their own. They don't own their company at all. Like they're just owned by someone else. They have these subpar like franchises and games that are coming out, and it's just such a bummer.
Well, that's the weird part, right? They were so worried about Vivendi coming over and taking over, and they're like, "No, we have so much to offer." What?
Yeah.
What is it that you have to? What were you fighting so hard to not have Vivendi overtake you to produce that you believed so heartily in? You can't have done all that just for Mario Rabbids. That's the only like standout stellar game you've made recently.
Yeah. No, seriously. Yeah, like the Rabbids series has been so good.
Right.
Like the Mario plus Rabbids. Fantastic. Oh, they also did the South Park games.
Oh, yeah, those are really good.
The Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole.
Yeah, those were both really good, actually. See, but look how few and far between.
Yeah. And that, like, if you could see this list on my screen right now, they've put out like probably a couple hundred games in the last 10 years, if not more, because they're huge. They have tons of studios. Like within Ubisoft, it's not just like Ubisoft. There's like Montreal, there's Paris,
San Francisco,
Quebec, there's Barcelona, there's Toronto, there's Kiev. There's like they're everywhere. They're everywhere. So they put out like over 100 games in the last 10 years or more, and like we've named like 3 that are good.
I was gonna say maybe I was gonna be generous and say like maybe 6, 7.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy. So bummer. But kind of to play off of that, here's the last news story: is Assassin's Creed fans were hungry for a smaller scale game, which again that was my problem with them. They're getting a little too big. A little, yeah. So this comes from VGC, written by Tom Ivan over there. Assassin's Creed Mirage creative director has said that the community's desire for smaller scale game was a big influence on its development for the outset. So if you don't know, Assassin's Creed Mirage is the next one to release, probably this year in 2023. Takes place in 9th century Baghdad. Described as a special tribute to the first Assassin's Creed.
Please be 15 hours. Please be 15 hours.
Right. Oh yeah,
Please.
I don't need a crazy like 100-hour game. Give me something that I can beat in like 20 or less. That'd be great. Mirage's creation has been the convergence of several inputs, creative director Stephanie Bowden told Games Radar. Of course, the first one comes from our community. Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, they are all great games with the promise to live an epic journey in a strong fantasy. Their scopes have been calibrated to fulfill those ambitions as they all embrace the RPG mechanics. But amongst our fans, we started hearing the desire for a character-driven story focused on the core pillars of the first ACs in a more intimate scale. It resonates with us as well as developers, and this was the starting point of the project. Mirage sees players take control of Basim. I'm going to butcher this. I apologize.
Do your best.
Basim Ibn Ishaq, a street thief with a mysterious past who joins the Hidden Ones on a quest for answers. With its more condensed scope and clear focus on Basim and his coming-of-age story, our main goal with Mirage is to provide a total immersion in 9th century Baghdad and the key events of the time for the Hidden Ones, Bowden said. We want this game to be a standalone that everyone could enjoy. He also said Ubisoft Bordeaux has reworked stealth tools, including familiar ones like the smoke bomb and throwing knives, with new upgrades that allow players to reinvent them to fit perfectly with your playstyle. Mirage is one of the 6 upcoming Assassin's Creed games discussed during Ubisoft Product Showcase last September.
They're already at it. You should just have 2. Have this one and the Japan one and call it a day.
Crazy. Yeah, so the next flagship series entries are after Mirage are codenamed Red, which is the one in Japan. Hex, which is... That one looks sick, too, because it looks like it could be like have horror elements. It's like the one that looks like it could be like the Salem Witch Trials. Remember that one?
I haven't heard about this one.
You don't remember that? All they showed was like an image. It was just, it looks like
maybe that's why.
It was like, or it was a trailer, but it like was like these trees, and the camera pans down, and then suddenly, like this, it's like it follows a string. At the end of the string is this weird, like looks like something from the Blair Witch Project, but it's the Assassin's Creed logo.
Huh?
So it's like it looks like it's like made out of sticks. But
so it's gonna be supernatural, kind of.
That's all they shared. It's codename Hex.
That one actually might kind of be cool.
And it has it's like very obvious, like which kind of like almost like we don't even know the time period, but people are speculating like maybe like what is it, the Salem Witch Trials or something like that. Like that'd be kind of crazy. So we'll see. And obviously there's Assassin's Creed Infinity, which is the franchise hub world thing.
Smash Brothers.
Whatever that is. So
it's Assassin's X Defiant.
Yeah, right. So I'm totally down for this. I wish it was a different like part of the world and time period, because just looking at the concept art and screenshots here, like it does just look like the first one. It looks like the first Assassin's Creed.
I'm fine with that. The first one was a good one. I'm fine with that. Go back to what works.
That's fine. Like if basically we're just getting an HD remaster of the first one, a remake of the first one, great, fantastic. I know they're different time periods. People are gonna come at me and be like, "How dare you? That's racist for just saying this all the same." That's not what I meant. I know they're different, but you know what I mean. Like it just
common sense dictates. They know what you meant.
Yeah. Well, you never know. People will be like,
fair.
There's those people out there who'd be like, 9th century Baghdad is not the same as blah blah blah. How dare you just assume it's like?
Tell Ubisoft that, not me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're the ones. No, I'm excited for this though, but Ubisoft just gets off track so quick, so it just scares me. It's like they're saying this now, but I feel like this game could come out and be good, and then they get their head stuck up their butt, and then they're like way over here, and it's like, we're back to the old way. Like, here's a big map. Yeah, come back. No, take it. Stop. I don't know. Now you liked Odyssey? Were you fans of like the older Assassin's Creed as well? Like
1 and 2, I really liked.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 was okay. 4 was pretty fun. That was the pirate one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I didn't play anymore until
so many people. I've heard so many people who just love 4. I never played it. I loved
the ship combat is really fun.
Yeah, I played 1 and 2. I played 3, and I did enjoy it. I never finished it, but I enjoyed what I did, and just somehow dropped off at 4. And I didn't pick up an Assassin's Creed until I went 1, 2, 3, and then went to Origins basically. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot in there I missed, but I was curious.
I went 1, 2, 4, nothing after that till Odyssey.
Okay. crazy. Yeah, and what's bizarre is there's a lot of games in between there. Like they put out so many, it's like, whoa.
And that's also a problem.
Yeah, it really is.
They need to focus.
Basically, Assassin's Creed turned into Call of Duty, whereas it's coming out every year. Is absolutely bonkers. But were you? You're generally favorable of those older ones, though, right? Like with this news, you're excited about that.
I'm into it, because that's what I want. I want them to go back to a more focused, story based, smaller in scale, but not small in ambition.
Okay.
When you have a big space like that, it's easy to just go, oh, this is all desert texture, and put some trees out there and call it a day. But when you have a much smaller world, that the challenge then is to make it dynamic and make it feel alive and make it
feel bigger than it is.
Make it much more dense.
Yeah.
In that smaller space.
Yeah.
So whatever effort you were going to make with a big map, you can condense it all into a small map.
100%. I'd rather have the facade that it's a big world than actually have the big world that's just empty.
Right.
Give me a small world that's so full of life and crazy stuff going on and like moving parts and characters.
Right. Like I can go into every store. I can go into people's houses and steal stuff. I could do whatever. If I'm looking for a target, it could be anywhere in the map.
Yeah.
That kind of density.
Yeah, trick me into thinking it's a huge open world without actually making a huge open world, because that's what I care about. Like, I don't care about riding my horse for 20 minutes across the map.
Or sailing a ship for a half an hour.
Yeah. Like, just get me to where I need to go, and great, fantastic, and have a super lived-in world. That would be awesome. But all right.
And it's not even relaxing sailing either. Like Wind Waker. Wind Waker used to have a lot of sailing, but like, with the music and the breeze going over your head, you just feel like, man, let's just go.
Just sit back and kick
wherever you want to go, I'm with you, But with Assassin's Creed, you have to manage all your people who are like rowing. You have to make sure the ship is upgraded. It's just like, no, I'm good. It's just like it was fun in 4. I don't need it again.
All right. Well, that is it for the Nerdy Nudes this week. Now it is time for our Patreon ad. That's right. This is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there, starting at just $1 a month. You can get episodes early and ad-free. You can get this show early and ad-free right after the show when we're done streaming live on Monday nights. Shut down the show, edit the show. I put it up there on podcast services usually within the hour of finishing up. So you can be supporting us and get those episodes on Monday night. You don't have to wait until Wednesday night, and you get it ad free. So this right here that you're listening to, you don't have to keep listening to this. I cut this out for you guys, so it just goes right from Nerdy Nudes into what you're playing. You don't have to listen to this, and you don't have to listen to the other ads that are also included on the podcast versions at the front end bumpers that happen as well. I know there's other ads with our podcast network that we're a part of. So if you want to skip out on all of those, support us on Patreon, starting at just $1. $5 a month, you can get episodes early and ad free, and you get the show notes. You know what we're going to talk about ahead of time. You can leave your own questions, comments, concerns about the mailbag, about the news segments we're going to do, everything right there on the show doc. So while we're recording, we can see it. We can see what you wrote. We can share it on the show. Share your thoughts. Just share your questions. Share your concerns on the news stories that we're talking about, on the mailbag questions that were asked. So support us there if you want to have a little more direct impact on the show that we record each and every week as well. $10 a month, you get a shout out on the show as a Super Gamer sponsor. And then $15 a month, you can be a Patreon producer where you can actually pitch us a segment. And, we'll give the old college try on the show. We've done losing reviews in the past where we watched bad movies and review those on the podcast. Adrian used to do Super Indie Boys, and I'm trying to think. We've had a couple other ones, but if you want to support us at the Patreon producer tier, very much appreciate all the folks who do support us at all the tiers. We thank you all for your support, and like I said at the top of the show, if you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Now, we also have, we stream live on Twitch Monday nights when we record the show, twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. You can subscribe for free. That's right. Normally costs $5, but if you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch account and use your Prime Gaming sub. It's free each and every month, cost you $0, and we get $5 out of it. And you also get to use our emotes all around Twitch on other channels that you watch and enjoy. So think about doing that. Like I said, doesn't cost you anything and help support the show in that way. Last but not least, W.GG. If you are looking for some...
I got to do it for him. He's not here. Go ahead.
All right. If you're looking for an energy drink that doesn't give you the jitters, you're not going to get a crash. It's gonna help you get through your day, help your brain function better. Neurofactor in there, whatever that is. It's their proprietary.
Gonna help other organs function too.
Check out W.GG. Use our code SGB to get 10% off. That helps support the show as well. They got incredible flavors. They're gluten-free, sugar-free, and like I said, no jitters or crash. That's the big thing. You know, it's the worst getting an energy drink and getting all shaky, or like within a couple hours just feeling like, oh, I need to take a nap now. Like at that point, what's the point?
You tried that new one, the Push and Punch?
The what?
Isn't that a new one?
There is a new one. I forget what it's called. I probably should know since this is the ad spot. I probably should talk about the new flavor, but I have not tried it. It's called Big Energy Tears. It's blue raspberry.
Well, there's that one, and there's Push and Punch. That's a new one that I wanted to try.
Oh, there is Push and Punch. Okay, so a Big Energy Tears is the one that just came out. But yeah, you're right. I think a couple weeks ago they just put out Push and Punch. They both sound really good. So I think the new one is a blue raspberry. What's the Push and Punch? What's that supposed to be?
It's fruit punch and lemon lime.
Oh, that's probably amazing. So maybe we need to buy some of these. Maybe I'll send you the Push and Punch, and I'll get the blue raspberry one. That way we can talk about it on the show. So, but yeah, go check it out. Remember to use our code SGB, so you get 10% off, and we get a little bit of kickback. Help support the show. So it doesn't cost you anymore. That's what's great. I don't know how they do it. Somehow they give you a discount and they still have money left over to give us a cut of it. So it's great. I love it. And I love the product too. So go check it out today if you're looking for that good energy without the bad crash. All right. That's it for the ads. Let's get back to the show. All right, this is the part of the show, Adrian, where I ask you what you're playing.
I don't even know why you asked. You know what I've been playing.
I do know what you've been playing. Go ahead and share with the good people you've been playing.
You know I've been playing One Piece Odyssey. Come on now. Yeah. What else? What else is there to play right now? Are you joking?
Nothing. I haven't played anything. Spoiler alert, I already said it earlier in the show. I haven't played anything, so you're right. There's nothing else to play. And that's why I'm not playing anything.
I am in love with this game, and of course, I have a huge bias because I am a massive One Piece fan.
Oh, look at that!
Of course,
a few audio listeners.
I have a straw hat tattoo for the audio listeners on my arm, so it's not going anywhere. But even still, this game combines two things that I really like. It feels like it's One Piece crossed with Dragon Quest. That's what it feels like as far as if I had to describe it to somebody.
Right.
And I also really like Dragon Quest a lot. I think Dragon Quest is phenomenal. So it's like those two put together, and honestly, I think it's a breath of fresh air because every anime game that's come out in like the last few years has always just been like a big arena fighter or a Street Fighter clone, where it's 1v1. So for them to break tradition, especially with the IP as big as One Piece, and it works, is a major accomplishment. It's pretty much fully voiced. This battle system is really fun. It's a little easy, but I'm pretty sure they're going to add a hard mode in later.
Okay, that's what I've heard. I've seen a lot of complaints online. People are just like, it's just way too easy. Like,
yeah,
even in later boss like fights, like as the game gets, you'd think it'd get harder, and it's like, oh, this is still really easy.
But it's also that's also nice too because I can get through the game faster, and yeah. I'm here for the story. So
I mean, that's my mentality. If I can play, I almost exclusively play on easy, like the easiest mode nowadays. Like it was like a year ago, it was beginning of 2022. I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Like, I already don't have enough time for video games, and then I'm like, even on normal,
play it on hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, even on normal, like there's some points because normal is like still like a little. It's not hard, but it's still a little challenging at points. And I'm like, why? Like, I want to get. Basically, I'm at the point in my life where I just want to get through games as quick as possible because I just want to get the story. And
you should just do the story option then.
So.
Just be like, give me the story.
And that's what I do. That's what I do a lot of times is just go do the story option. So, so maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll check out One Piece just because it's so easy, apparently. Just fly through.
Well, you got a little ways to go before you can.
Oh, right. I'm not allowed to play it because I'm not caught up on the show. So,
Yep. Well, you're not caught up to the point you need to be.
Okay.
Which is not the whole show, but you still got a little ways to go.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been playing that, of course. What else? Oh, I've been going back through Chrono Trigger in anticipation and preparation for book club. And man, what a game. Like, that game was so far ahead of its time with like quality of life stuff and the way that it's a simple story, but the way that it's told, I think is really well. I don't know. I'll get into it on book club, but it's a great game. I'm sorry, I don't know what Chizo is thinking, but I'm on Eddie's side. We're probably gonna end up 2v1 them on this one, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I mean, we should probably check in with the crew and make sure everyone's actually playing it. But yeah, I'm curious, like what what he's gonna say. Like, I would love to know his reasonings. But I'm curious how recently he played the game, because if it's something where like he's like, if he's been replaying it this last month, I wonder if he'll still have the same thoughts, or maybe he'll turn a new leaf, being like, oh no, maybe I was wrong. I don't know.
I was just kidding, actually.
You'll just have to tune in to our Patreon supporters, or our Patreon to hear that, figure out what goes down over there. But so I did not play any games. I did two things though that technically three things
that are game adjacent,
and two of them you'll be happy about, and one of them you'll be extremely proud of me for. So the first thing that you're not going to care about is I've been painting a lot more minis. I've been getting back into painting.
I've been watching. I've been seeing you paint them. I see you post on Instagram.
Yeah, and
you painted the one that Gary Whitta sent you, right?
Yeah, so Gary Whitta put out a phenomenal. Really, it's like an audio drama, or like it's an audio book essentially on his YouTube channel. You can go to YouTube. He said he was going to release it as a podcast, but then he never did. Like, that was like back in August. He's like, it's coming out in podcast. Keep subscribe to it, but it never did. But you can listen to it on his YouTube channel. It's called Gundog. It has a fantastic story. I actually just started really listening back through it now because I was painting the miniature. But yeah, he got it was a limited release, 500 miniatures of the Gundog mech from the story. And I ordered one back when he was first shipping them out, and I just finally got around to painting it. And oh man, it was so much fun. And so I'm just like back in 100%. Like every night, I just go out to the desk now and just paint for hours, and it's been a blast getting sucked back into that. But while I'm doing that, in the background, I've been watching One Piece.
Oh, you're back on it. Okay.
So while I'm spending my hours painting, I have One Piece on in the background, and I've been watching it dubbed because of that, because I can't concentrate paint at the same time. So like if I'm watching the show, I'm usually doing it subbed, but because it's I'm trying to paint, I'm like, this is too hard. I don't know Japanese. Sorry. So I've been watching that. I am up to. Let's see.
Are you out of the 40s?
Oh, yeah. I'm in like the 60s now. Almost to the 70s.
Yes. You're moving.
I just got to the part where... Okay, so Luffy and Zoro just fought because there was the misunderstanding with like that one island. They're in the Grand Line now. Like right at the beginning of the Grand Line, they go to the island where everyone's super welcoming and nice. Little they know it's a trap. Spoilers for One Piece, I guess, but you know,
okay,
you've had 30 years to watch it. Or whatever.
I know exactly where you are.
So I'm at the point now where it's actually cut away from them, and it's now checking in on Kobe and how Kobe's doing on the Marine thing. So it's episode like 68 or 69 right now. Coming up on, according to the titles here, coming up on Ancient Islands. Like I'm about to hit Ancient Island and all that stuff in the Grand Line. I'm loving it. It's so much fun. Like
yes.
I mean, maybe part of it is just because like I'm not just sitting there and watching it. Although I did enjoy it when I did that too. When I said it and I sat there and actually focused on watching it, I did enjoy it. But I feel like I've just been enjoying it more because I can at least absorb it passively. I think because it's such a massive amount that I have to, like this mountain of One Piece I have to watch. It's a little daunting and kind of like an off-putting. And so the fact that like I can passively absorb it and listen to it and still like watch it while I'm doing other stuff, it makes it like 100 times better. At least until
there's moments too where you know, like I need to watch this or I need to look up. You know what I mean? Oh,
there's been a few times where I'm like, wait, what just happened? And this like even like rewinding a little bit and like, oh, okay, like rewatching those little parts and stuff like that. Yeah, loving that. So when painting minis a lot more, watching One Piece, and then the third thing, I watched the first episode of The Last of Us last night on HBO. Man,
what a show!
I mean, it's just episode 1. I was talking with a buddy today. I was like, I just hope that they can continue this quality throughout, because let me tell you, I thought I was prepared for episode 1. I knew what was going to happen. I know this story. I know exactly where this is going. And let me tell you, I still cried.
It hits different in real life.
And I like sitting next to my brother-in-law on the couch. And I'm like, no, keep it in. It's just like tears coming. I'm like biting my lip so hard. I'm like, oh man, it hit me hard. Like it took everything in me to not just start sobbing, uncontrollably next to my brother-in-law last night. I was like, I can't embarrass myself in front of him. But man, yeah, that moment is just like hit so hard. But so far, I'm not going to get super spoilery. Granted, everyone here should have played this game by now. But that's what I want to get into is if you played the game, I love how faithful they're being with recreating
the core moments.
Like the core moments. Like obviously there's a lot of moments they're adding to it and they're phenomenal. Like so far
I was going to say I love all the extra stuff that they're adding and all the changes that they're making to the format of it. Cuz a lot of it wouldn't make sense unless you were playing it, like doing the things. Yep. So them changing it to where it happens passively to the viewer, I think is a great change.
Yeah. The things they're adding so far have been absolutely perfect and phenomenal. And then the things that are from the game, I love how it's like literally 1-to-1, like the same script and everything. Like I'm like, oh, that is like literally a line straight from the game, like a whole dialogue. Like when they're in the truck at the beginning, like leaving the house and stuff like that. Like even the camera angle, like it's inside the truck looking around as if it's from,
the game,
from like in the game. And yeah, like hearing them talk about different things and like the talking back and forth about like, which way are we going to go? Blah, blah. I'm like, oh man, like this is a game. This is so crazy. It feels so good. So the moments that need to be like 1-to-1 recreations, they're nailing it perfectly. And then all the extra stuff that they're like making up to make it work in a live action TV show is just like phenomenal. So I've been blown away.
I'd be a liar if I didn't say when I was watching this that I didn't go on the PlayStation Store and I would look and see, is part 1 on sale yet? Is it on a good sale?
Oh man, I know, right? Oh man. Yeah, fantastic.
I'm waiting for that $39.99, man. As soon as it hits,
as soon as it drops, right in the cart. If you have HBO Max, go watch this. So that is the interesting thing. I'd be curious to hear from someone who hasn't played the game. So like my brother-in-law Toby, he has not played it. and he was enjoying it, but I don't know. It would be fun to do like more of a like to hear. So again, if you viewers and listeners, if you have not played The Last of Us somehow, and you're watching the show, like I would be curious, like what are your thoughts on it? Because as a fan of the series, it's just blowing my mind how good of a job they're doing adapting it to TV. And then, and I want to just recommend it to everyone, but for all I know, maybe a newbie is like, nah, this is whatever.
I was actually reading online on Twitter. A lot of people have family members who don't play games at all. And they sat down. They all sat down to watch this with them, and the family members were invested in it. So it's a good story, regardless of whether or not you A, play games, or B, have even heard of these are people who have never even heard of it, right?
Right.
So to them, it's a new show, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm into this. When's the next one coming out?" So that's a good sign that it has universal appeal.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and that's. Because I mean, it's fantastic because I from what I've heard, they're already like wanting to do a season 2. Like they're already talking about like, oh, season 2 is going to be Last of Us Part 2. So the idea is season 1 is part 1, season 2 is part 2.
So they're gonna do the whole game in 9 episodes.
That's what I assumed from the comment that Neil Druckmann made. I forget what interview it was, but yeah, he made some comment like that. Like he wants to do part 2 in season 2. So
that means we won't get Bella at this point then. In season 2, because she's not going to be old enough, right? We might get her in the flashbacks.
I mean, we'll see. Who knows? It might be 2 or 3 years before we even get, I
guess.
Season.
But I think she's 2. Only like 14, 13, maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, they'd have to cast a new actress, and they can use her for the flashbacks, but that'd be about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we'll definitely have to wait and see on that. But either way, just the worst thing is that it's that I have to wait a whole week. Like I so badly just wanted to keep binging episodes, and they're beefy. It's like an hour and a half long episodes. But yeah, I was like, I'm ready for more. Like I didn't feel like it. Like when it was done, I'm like, that went by way too fast. Like I need more. I need more.
But it gives you something to look forward to.
Yes, it does. It really does. What I absolutely loved as well was at the very end. And I turned it off early, but I caught it. Like as I was turning it off, all of a sudden I saw something come up after the credits. I'm like, wait, what was that? So I turned it all back on. After the credits, it gives you like a, coming soon in The Last of Us. It gives you like a little trailer that's like.
Oh, like next time on the next episode?
But it's not just for the next episode. It's like on future episodes of The Last of Us. So it almost gives you like the next 2 or 3 episode kind of flash forwards. But then.
You know the story though, Garrett.
I know. No. So they have that. And then after that, they have a behind the scenes. It's like 10 minutes of behind the scenes of the making of episode 1.
Oh no, I don't watch those. I don't watch those until the show is over.
But it's just about episode 1. So that's like what's really cool is like it's it's the actors, it's the directors, it's the writers, and they're showing footage of them like making the scenes you just watched on episode 1. I'm like, that's really cool. So if you're watching it, watch all the way through the credits, because at the very end you get that behind the scenes. I'm like, this is neat, because a lot of shows don't do that anymore. Like I miss that. Like back in the day, I was a nerd who had I would watch all the commentaries and all the stuff on like Lord of the Rings and the Star Wars movies and all that stuff. Like we had the gold VHS tapes for Star Wars, and so it had like all the behind the scenes. I
know exactly what you're talking about.
All that stuff, and it's like I miss that. And so like when this show ended and it had that, I'm like, yes, bringing it back.
Yeah, I try not to do that, because I didn't do it with Game of Thrones either until like it was all over, because I feel like it breaks the immersion for me. Like it reminds me, this is just a show. You know what I mean? Rather than, this is something that when you commit to the bit, this is something I can believe that actually happened. Or, I don't know. It's a weird thing with me. It's like when rides break down at Disneyland and they turn the lights on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, fantastic show. Please go watch it. It's very good. Even if you haven't played the game. Incredible story. Makes you cry. Makes grown men cry.
Grown everybody cry.
Grown everyone cry. All right. Well, that is it for this week. Thank you all so much for listening and watching along. Remember, you can catch us on all podcast services. You can watch us over at youtube.com/supergamerboys. If you want to watch us record this live, you can catch us at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys Monday nights around 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. We go live with recordings there. If you want to support us, think about, first and foremost, giving us a review on the podcast service on YouTube, hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment on the video. All of that helps the videos to actually get found by other people. Views, comments, and likes, they help tremendously. And then obviously subscribe so you know when the next episode comes out. Or you can go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us for just $1 a month as well. That helps us buy games that we can then talk about on the show and give our reviews for us, and you kind of get an idea of if it's worth getting or not. We can buy new equipment so we can keep making better content for you guys, quality wise, better microphones, better cameras, better lights, better whatever. And
keep your eye on the store.
Yeah, so after you support us over at Patreon, or maybe you don't, keep an eye out over at sgbstore.com, because we might have some new stuff in store. I know we teased a little bit last week, but now we actually might, for real, have some new stuff coming. Seriously. So
that's all I'm going to say. Just keep your eye out. That's all.
sgbstore.com. Put that in your bookmarks. Check that every once in a while. There might be some cool stuff coming soon. w.gg. Remember to use code SGB to get 10% off your order and help support the show. You might want to go get some Push and Punch before it's out of stock. That sounds so good. Fruit punch and lemon.
It honestly does. Go ahead and order that. I need some.
I'll get it for you. Send it over right away here. Jack, Sriracha, and Yate deserve all the praise. Shout out to those folks for making incredible music and allowing us to use it just out of the kindness of their heart. So thank you very much. And please go support them by listening to their music over at Apple Music, over at Spotify. Links to those in the show description below. And I believe you can buy some of their music over on Bandcamp, so check that out as well. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I am on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. And Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
All right. And by the way, you can also catch... JJ's not here, but you know what? I just got to talk. I got to talk about this.
He does some wrestling, whatever, thingamabob.
He has the Suplex City Wrestling Podcast, which is it's a fine
some
podcast.
Kind of wrestling show.
It's fine. They just launched their YouTube channel, and let me tell you, it's a freaking hit over there. It's like blowing up. It's kind of crazy how many views they've gotten in the last. I launched it like this last weekend, and it's just like absolutely blowing up. So. Excuse me. Go subscribe to their YouTube channel. You can listen to their podcast episodes over there, and they're going to be doing more content. At this point, it's just their podcast, but check it out. That's youtube.com/@SuplexCityPod. For some reason, YouTube started using like Twitter handles, so it's weird. Like you have to put the @ symbol in there, but it's Suplex City Pod. Anyways, that's all I got for this week. Adrian, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with us for another episode of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. As Garrett was saying earlier, we appreciate everybody who watches, listens, buys merch, uses our codes whenever you can, tells your friend, whoever, whatever. Of course, it all helps, and we appreciate you because we would have been doing it regardless. We would have been talking about this stuff with or without a camera in front of us, so why not have you along with us for it? Thank you again. We will see you next week for another episode, and at the end of the month for Super Gamer Book Club. We are the Super Gamer Boys,
and we will catch you on the flippity flop.
JJ sucks.
JJ sucks.